Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. We will give everyone a chance to populate inside of the room, and then we will get started. So we are looking forward to coding with you all today. All right, we will give everyone just another minute to go ahead and head into our Zoom room here. But if you can hear me, if you can go ahead and raise your hand, that will let me know that you are with me. Awesome, you guys are rock stars. Just another minute and we will get started. I am going to launch a poll right now for you to take. So if you could just take a minute while you guys are waiting to take this poll. Raise your hand if you are able to see the poll, just so I know that you're able to see it. I don't see anyone taking it. Okay, great. You just take a couple of seconds here to go ahead and fill out this poll, and then we're gonna get started. Awesome, you guys are rock stars. Okay, those of you who are joining us, if you can go ahead and fill out this poll really quickly. There's still about 3 of you that have not voted. And panelists, you're also welcome to vote as well. Okay. See some more people are still joining us. If you just joined us, if you see the poll, you're welcome to go ahead and hop on that poll. Otherwise, I'm going to end that and we're going to get started. And I will share those results with you here in just a few minutes. Okay, welcome to our online webinar session. This is a session designed for students. So we're going to be working with your students on how to work with our challenge builder and learning some coding concepts along the way. So thank you again for joining us. So a couple of things, just some reminders. I may open this up later for some of you to go ahead and participate with us. If you do hear that if you do see that you are unmiked and you're unmuted, just please make sure that you're you mute yourself once you're finished talking, because everyone can hear you wherever they are, and it hears like an echo, even though you may not hear it on your end. Make sure that you have headphones in. That's always just a really nice reminder for people around you. And then when you are working in that chat box, which we will open up here very shortly, if you could just make sure that you're using responsible language and questions. Also, if along the way you're kind of getting stuck on something, maybe you need a little bit extra help, you can just make sure that you know, because if you are specific about the question that you're asking, because if I just say I need help, that could mean anything. It could mean anything from I dropped something on the ground, I need you to help me, or I have something on my screen I'm stuck on. So just please make sure you're very specific about your questions. That helps us help you. And then right here along the bottom, we see a couple of things here. We see our chat, the raise hand, and the Q&A. The Q&A box is open for you at any time to ask any questions, and the chat box will be kind of locked down and will be opened up, so you'll know when we open it. So I always like to start off by just introducing who I am. My name is Lena Saleh. I'm the Professional Development Manager here at CodeMonkey. I see several familiar names and all on our list here. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us, as well as there are quite a bit of educators as there are students. So thank you. I have worked in education for over a decade, well, more than that now. And so I just really enjoy and miss working with kiddos. I'm going to introduce our other panel members and hand it off.
Thanks, Lena. My name is Mark Dozier. I am a customer success and support associate at CodeMonkey. That picture you're looking at is the pre-shutdown image of me before I became a caveman, but as I am definitely happy to be here with you guys, and I look forward to taking some of your questions in the chat box or in the Q&A. Thank you, Lena.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And we also, you'll see a picture here of Jay. He is our curriculum developer. So that means he develops all the lesson plans for our teachers and makes it really easy and self-guided for teachers to navigate our courses. We also have one more member joining us from our team, and that's Brett Eskelson. So he is head of all of our sales here at CodeMonkey. So he'll also be helping answer your questions as well. I already see a question. Hi, I'm new. What do? I just joined. You're just going to hang out right now. Before we get started. So you can, this is for teachers and students as well. Obviously, if you're over the age of 13, you should only be viewing these social channels here. But you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at CodeMonkeySTU. I do encourage you throughout this remote learning and COVID time that you tag us using the webinar, using the hashtag CodeMonkeyWebinar, and we'll retweet as much as we can. All right, so I always like to start off telling the story about CodeMonkey. I know many of you have probably heard the story before. CodeMonkey was developed with a team of two brothers and their best friend. They started teaching CodeMonkey to students in a very traditional manner, like learning like you would in college. And they found that when they were working with younger students, they just like you, probably didn't really like to learn coding that way. So that's how CodeMonkey was born, and they developed, they found that students really enjoyed coding with a monkey and learning how to code those coding concepts in a much more fun and engaging way. So I hope you enjoy it as well. All right, so today's objectives that we are going to be doing today is we're going to work with we're going to do a quick unplugged activity. So get those keyboards ready. I'm going to open up the chat here in just a couple of minutes. And then we're going to do a little bit of coding vocabulary. We'll keep it pretty short here. We'll do a couple of coding challenges just to get you guys familiar. And then the rest of our time will be spent building a CodeMonkey challenge. As we get started, if you get stuck and you're not able to see, like if you're viewing on a tablet, which can happen that way, you can't watch Zoom and be on a tablet at the same time. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's probably better to watch and then go back and do what you learned throughout the lesson today. Okay, so just have patience with yourself and have an understanding that everything might not always go 100%, but that's the joy of programming, is there's always a time where you can fail forward, so you can try again, okay? All right, so our first activity, and I'm gonna open up this chat box for you here in just a minute, and that's how do we make and eat a bowl of cereal? So in the chat box, I would like for you to place your steps in the chat box. So walk me through how you would make and eat a bowl of cereal, and then I will choose somebody's to share with me. So give me just 1 second. Let's screen is not able to see this. Okay, so now I'm gonna let you guys take just a few minutes here and you guys can go ahead and type in the chat box. The chat box is now open for you to share this quick activity. So we're gonna have to keep it pretty time crunchy here today. So I'm gonna give you guys 1 minute to go ahead and give me the steps, the best that you can, typing in the chat box for how we would eat and how we would make and eat a bowl of cereal. Seeing some really great directions. So I'm gonna set this timer here in just a minute. Seeing some really great examples here of how you would make and eat a bowl of cereal. I also see some interesting answers here. Some of you are quite clever. All right, awesome job, you guys. So I see some really great examples here. I see somebody who said toss it up in the air and catch it. I don't think that's how we would eat the cereal. My guess is it would end up on the floor and your parents would probably be very upset with you. I do see this one, find your favorite cereal, get a bowl, spoon and milk, pour the cereal in a bowl, and then add the milk, and then get your spoon and start eating, and make sure to clean up after yourself. So that's a really great example. See another one who says, look for a really big bowl. Ooh, I like this one here. Eat and then repeat the steps until empty. Drink the milk, wash the bowl and the spoon. So all really great examples. You guys are amazing unplugged coders already. So let's go ahead and let's see what an example of what that might exactly look like here. So one example of this is that obviously in this one it says put cereal in a bowl, but obviously you need to choose your cereal first before kind of getting started. Then when you get that, you choose a bowl that you like. I always have a very favorite cereal bowl that I like to use. I don't know about you. And my favorite cereal used to be Lucky Charms, in which I would always eat all the Lucky Charms first before I ate the rest of the cereal. Okay, so you spoon then you also get a spoon, which is also not here in our directions, but some of you are very specific, and that is exactly, the more specific, the better when we're coding, okay, for step-by-step directions. Then I'm just going to repeat step 3. So I'm going to spoon the cereal and milk into my mouth, and I'm going to repeat that until all the cereal and milk is eaten. And then I'm going to rinse the bowl and the spoon, okay? Obviously, after everything is finished, we're gonna walk it back to the sink, rinse it out, and your parents will be very thankful that you washed out your bowl and put it in the dishwasher or washed it for your family. Make it a little bit easier. Always clean up after yourselves. It's a good trait for yourselves later, okay? So that is an example of an algorithm, number 1. And number 2, it's also an example of a loop. In this case, this is, if you've ever done block coding, which it looks like a lot of you are very familiar with block coding, that forever loop that you've used before when you keep doing something, okay? A forever loop is a little bit different, but in this case, it's a for loop. So every single time I'm gonna keep repeating this step until there's no more cereal. I'm not gonna keep going through the motions if there's no cereal. But if I only had 3 pieces of cereal, 3 little, let's say little Cheerios in my milk, it'll be easier for me to program that than it is for me to program it with a lot of cereal. So that's why we would use a simple loop. And we're gonna work on using a simple loop today. So a simple loop, okay, is called a times loop or an iteration. It means the number of times that you're going to do it. An iteration is a repetition of those steps. So more so like when we're eating cereal continuously. Okay, I see some people are saying that they're not able to hear me. So if you can just raise your hand quickly so we can hear, so that I know that you can hear me. Okay, so it seems like quite a bit of you are, sometimes it can be connection with Zoom. I know that it's really crazy busy right now with their threshold, but if at any time you can't hear me, please just make sure that you are indicating that in the chat box. It just kind of lets me know, because I can hear me, but you probably can't hear me. So that's always really good to know. So thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to change the chat that you can only chat with us as panelists. So just so you know that's there, okay? All right, so we have our simple loop and a times loop here. So in this case, when we talked about a serial, that's called an iteration. So something, who loves this game? Raise your hand. I love this game, okay? It really helps me sometimes when I've had a bad day too, just to be knocking those guys down, okay? But I also find it very fun. So that is an iteration. Now, if I only had 3 of them pop up, I would be able to count the amount of steps and give it a times loop. I would be able to say, there's 3 of them, and I would hit one, and then what's my next step? I would hit the next and the next. So there's a difference between a simple loop and an iteration or a for loop, where something is happening all the time, and I'm able to do it until the condition is met. So in this case, until all the rats are gone. Or I can just, if I drop 3 pencils, I'm able to easily plan how to pick those up. So I can count 3 times, okay? So all really great questions I see happening here in the chat box as well. We also talked about an algorithm, okay? So an algorithm is a list of steps that you can follow to finish a task. So just like a plan of action, how you're doing it, exactly like when you're making chocolate chip cookies with your mom or baking or anything like that. That's a really good example of a list of steps that you follow. I know that I'm really bad at following recipes step by step, and so I'll sometimes forget to whip the butter with the sugar beforehand, and my cookies don't end up turning out very good. So it's always really great to follow your step-by-step directions to complete a task, and that's how a computer works. It goes step by step, and very, 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 very fast, right? Working through as it kind of goes through. So that's very important. Okay, so we just worked through an unplugged activity together, and now our next step is we're actually going to go to CodeMonkey. Now, lots of you, if you're working on an iPad or some kind of tablet, please don't try to do both. It just isn't going to work that well. So I know it's probably not as fun, but I would like for you to just kind of watch what we're doing, and then you can go and try it afterwards, okay? So, and I know that many of you have accounts. If you're a teacher, you can stay using your account, but if you're a student, please use the account that we're going to give you, because it's going to behave a little bit differently, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our CodeMonkey website. And so a member of my team is gonna pop that in the chat box there. How do you get to CodeMonkey? And when you do, you should see a web page like this. So I'm in a browser. You may use Safari or Google Chrome or Firefox or whatever it is that you have on there. Basically, how you get to the internet, that's our browser. So you're going to open a new tab or open up your window and see that you can still have, it's called toggling. So when you have a couple of different screens or a couple of different windows, we're looking between the 2 of those. So we're going to toggle between the 2 of those. And when you're here, if you can, raise your hand just so I know that you're with me, so I'm not moving too fast, because I know sometimes it can seem very fast. Ooh, you guys are on top of it today. I really appreciate you guys following along with me. It's very helpful. Okay, so now that we're all here, we're all gonna get logged in. Like I said, if you're a teacher, you guys can go ahead and log in, and the rest of you, you are going to use this username and the password. So what you're gonna do is at codemonkey.com, you're gonna click up here on the right-hand side, and you're gonna click login. When you do, this sign in / login box opens for us, okay? Login page. And right here where it says email or username, you're gonna type this here. Your username is monkeykode1, and your password is 123456. Obviously, if you're doing this on your own, you would not want to have such a simple password, because we always have to be leery of hackers. But in this case, we're going to use this just today for this. Normally, if we were working with my students, we would have a much more difficult password than we have here. Never want to have something that somebody can crack super easy, okay? You guys are amazing. When you are logged in, raise your hand so we can go over the next steps together. You guys are right on it with me. Okay, Hannah, remember when we talked about this? About how if you have a question or you're stuck with something, just make sure you can let us know what exactly you're stuck on. It's hard for us to know what help means. It can mean a lot of things. So you have to be very specific with your questions, just like if you were asking the teacher, very specific questions. Awesome. You guys are rocking and rolling. Okay, now I am going to get logged in. So now I'm going to do my username. Remember, my username is monkeykode1. So I'm going to type it here in the box. Oops, making sure I spell stuff correctly or I won't be able to get in. Monkeykode1. And my password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, if you don't have an account, Hannah, that's a really good question. I can't get into the account because I have an account. So you would need to log out of your account and use this username and password, or try to go on your own account. If it doesn't work, then you'll know why. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna review that simple loop, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a simple loop in the challenge builder. So we're gonna do 2 challenges together, and then we're gonna spend our time, the rest of the time, building our challenge, okay? So if you can scroll down to Coding Adventure, and when you click on Coding Adventure, you click Start Coding. All right, and I am sharing my sound, so it's gonna be loud. So you can just quickly turn all those sounds off. For me, it just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, I'm gonna talk about what you see here, and then we're gonna scroll to our challenges. So what we see here is our main screen, or the CodeMonkey course. On the left-hand side, this is a stage. And on the right-hand side is where we would script and write our code. So our text editor, okay? Gordo is our teacher assistant. He pops up for directions. And when we want anything to work on the screen, we're going to click the run. However, we're not gonna do this challenge. So what we're gonna do is, if you can't see the story map, there is a shortcut that I'll show you, but this is where you're gonna go. So you're gonna click on the story map, which is right next to your little avatar here. We're gonna click on the story map. And each and every single world is a different coding concept. So we're gonna scroll through till we get to the 3rd map. And the 3rd map at the top says Loopland, okay? And on Loopland, I want us to click on challenge number 22. If you don't see the story map, and maybe you're a little bit stuck, okay, I'm just gonna click off of Gordo for a second. What I want you to do is I want you to come up here to the address bar. And in the address bar, you can change it from, we are on challenge 0, you can change it to challenge 22, and it's gonna take you right here to where you need to be. Hands up if you are with me, so I have an idea. Ooh, you guys are fast. Love my afternoon coders. It's always easier to code after a nice lunch, right? Okay. Hannah, I see that you are there. I'm hoping that you're with us on this, okay? If you're not, you can just send a message to our panelist, all right? Okay, so here I have Gordo again. He's giving me those directions. Says the number you write before this function here, which is the times function or times loop, like we talked about earlier, is the number of times the code will repeat. So I already have text here. So anytime there's text on the screen, we always want to debug it, which means we want to find out if there's an error in the code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click run like we did before. And we're going to see something. It tells us to count the bananas. Now, there's a trick here. Sometimes people will hover over this last banana and say that there is a number 8. So there's only 8 bananas. However, on computers, they actually start counting from 0. So there's actually not only 8 here, there are actually 9 bananas. And we can count that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there's 9 bananas. If we want to measure the distance, we can take a ruler and we can pull the ruler out and go from the top. We click one time on the monkey's head and we drag the ruler. And we also see that the ruler not only does that, but it also does angle measurements. Okay, so you can see the measurements of the angles happening here. So we saw that he was moving correctly. He just wasn't moving the farthest number of times. He wasn't moving the correct number of times. So we have to change our times loop. Okay, so this is going to say, how many times do I want to run this line of code? I could write this step 6, turn 36, and I could do that 9 times. However, I don't want to do it 9 times. I want to get the shortest way possible. Hannah, if you already have an account, you can just join us on challenge 22, and that will kind of help you as well, okay? Alrighty, so we saw that we got a 3-star solution. Now, a 3-star solution means the shortest code that I could have written. If I had wrote step 6, turn 36 every single time, 9 times, I would have gotten a 1-star because it wasn't the shortest solution, okay? So I know you guys are with me on this. I'm gonna do one more with you, and that's gonna be challenge number 25, and then we're gonna build and create our own challenge. So this one is important because we're gonna rebuild something very similar to this, okay? So we're gonna take a look here. So we're gonna debug our challenge like we've done before. And what we see here is that we don't really have a sequence. We sort of have here, we have 2 bananas, then 2 bananas, then 2 bananas, and 2 bananas. And if we take the measurement of the bananas, we want to check them. We'll see that every single time the distance between each banana is 5. Okay, so that's important. So we saw the monkey turn left when he got to the banana, but he just kept turning left 3 times. And that's not exactly what we want to have happen. Okay. So we have to see, so we have 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, and 4 sets, okay? So we're gonna change the number to 4. Let's see if that makes a difference. Oh no, we still didn't complete the sequence. So when the monkey turns left, we saw him facing that one direction. Now we want him to turn right, okay? And then remember, we measured already the distance between each one, so we can do step 5, okay? And when we do, let's see, 1, now we have completed an algorithm, okay? And also a times loop. So, really great. All right, so now we have learned what a simple loop is. Now we're gonna go to our challenge builder. So it's important that you follow along with where we are, okay? And at the end of this, my team will send out a challenge builder guide that will kind of help you guys. I don't wanna overwhelm you though right now with too much. So right here in the CodeMonkey, on the left-hand side, we're going to click on the monkey's head or on the words CodeMonkey. That will take us back to our homepage. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna scroll to the bottom, and if yours isn't at the bottom, you're just gonna look for this picture that says Challenge Builder, okay? And what it is it has a person with a banana in its hand, and you see a turtle and a rat. So if you see that, you are in the right place. It will be under the creativity section, okay? So it's important. So we're gonna click here on our challenge builder. And I would like for you to click start coding. And just to make sure that everyone is here, I would like for you to raise your hand so that I know that everybody is with me. And if you're not and you're not able to get in, just please be patient and just kind of watch and learn from us, and then you can try it on your own later. We'll make this recording available for you and your families. All right. And there are some people speaking Spanish. Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish, so I'm not able to respond back to you. And I don't have time to Google Translate right now, or else I would love to do that, okay? Alrighty, so you guys are amazing and you guys are doing some really great work. So remember, you can always use that Q&A box as well if you have any questions. So I'm glad everyone is with us, okay? And we'll kind of go through there. All right, so here we go. So we noticed something automatically different. Gordo doesn't have any directions. He hasn't said anything. And the way that we would want to do that is we don't want to give the directions yet because we don't even know what we're doing, okay? So what we're going to, Silvina, we may ask you some questions here in a little bit. So here's Gordo, just like normal, okay? And we're gonna click on the okay. And I'm just gonna talk about some functionalities here of the page. So it's blank. It's not like the other ones that we've seen because we're gonna be building and creating our own challenge, okay? The ruler is still here, it still behaves the same. The monkey is here, the banana is here, okay? There's different backgrounds, and this is why you're logged in like us today, okay? We're only gonna use backgrounds that we know. So we only saw grass today, so we're only gonna use the grass, okay? Then when we click the plus sign, there are different objects that we can add to the screen. Today, we don't need to use any of those because we're just using the bananas. And as these on your side as a student, as you work through the challenges, these little guys will unlock once you've been introduced to it, okay? And then the objects are open, but you don't know anything about the objects yet, so we won't use anything that we don't know. So we don't have to do anything. The next thing I want us to do is when you hover over these buttons here, you'll see a little minus sign. So we're gonna get rid of the minus, gonna get rid of the blocks, and all we're gonna leave is the step, okay, button. So raise your hand if you're with me, and the only button that you see on your screen is the step. Great, great, great. Okay, you guys are rocking and rolling. All right, so now that we see that, we're gonna click on this plus sign here, and we're gonna use the buttons that we know we've used before. So we're gonna get the turn, because we've used turn. We're gonna click it and it will go onto the bottom, and then we're gonna find the times loop. You'll see it's like a little, almost like a recycle sign, sort of, okay? And we're gonna click on that, and we're gonna have it added to the bottom, and now we see step, turn, and the times loop. Okay, all very important. All right, great. Now, this is my favorite part of the platform, and hopefully maybe yours as well, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you this configuration is the behind the scenes, things that you don't normally see on the program itself, okay? So every step is about 20 pixels. So this XY runs in pixels, like a computer screen, okay? So there's an XY coordinate, all right? The monkey, normally on an XY coordinate, you would see a 0B somewhere in the middle, okay? But on computers and in the computer program, it's actually up here at 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0 is in the upper left-hand side of our screen. So we're gonna put our monkey down here. So put your monkey down here in the right-hand corner, okay? And we can see where the monkey is. We can see if we move him around, we can see his rotation. I'm just gonna have him facing forward right now on the screen in our bird's eye view, okay? Now we see our banana. Right now we only have one banana on the screen and we can see that we're moving it. I want you to add 3 bananas. Well, let's do 4. All right, now a trick here, something to notice is that you want the 4 bananas, so you want 2 of them to be on the same Y coordinate, okay? And then you want them to be on the same, and then we'll change the X coordinate, okay? So here we have these 2 bananas, so I can click on this banana, I can move it, and we can see that its Y is at 343, so that means that I want this other one to also be at 343. You can also use the ruler, okay, to move it. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going through. Okay, that's fine, Jackson. If you can't find the turn, no big deal. If you see the left and the right, that's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. We're gonna program it anyway, so it won't be that big of a deal. It's just to help you if you get tricked up with spelling, okay? So great question. All right, so now we have those 2, and we know that they're on the right plane. Let's do the same thing. Let's check our other ones, and let's make sure they're in the same place. So I'm just gonna move mine actually, oh, I have a little bit extra banana there. Okay, so now I'm gonna move this and I'm gonna put this one at y to 11. Okay, yours doesn't have to be exactly, but it's tricky, okay? All right. So that kind of gives us a little bit of idea if they're on the right plane or the right coordinate where we want them to go. So think about it like the right line. Are they on the right line and are they even with each other? Okay. I'm gonna get my ruler and I'm going to measure the distance first. So we see that this one is 9 and that this is 6. And the distance from this banana to this one should be the same as the first one, but it's not. So we're gonna have to adjust it to make sure that that's the case. So we have this as being 9, okay? And then we can have this one as being 6, nothing wrong with that. But we want this one to also be 9. So that means that I need to move this one a little bit further than it was before. And I pick up the ruler and I'm so close, okay? And I measure it. And now I can see that it's 9, okay? So we have 6 and 9, okay? So you can also see that I don't have it on the right spot, so I'm just gonna move it so it's even, okay? So now they're even with each other. Give me a hand in the air if you're with me. You have 4 bananas, and your bananas, 2 of them are on the same y coordinate, and the other 2 are on the same y coordinate as well. Okay, that just makes it a little bit even. Awesome, you guys are doing great. And I know my team is helping to answer those questions if you have any. Okay, now we have that. Okay, we have our back is done, so we don't have to do anything here. So you guys ready for the next step? Great. Now we have to go and code it. So we have this here, and our first step is we want our monkey to be able to step 6, like here, so we can repeat this. So we need to measure our monkey and move him 6. So that means I'm gonna need to move him a little bit up here. And so close. You can see how sometimes when you're coding in Coding Adventure, how sometimes it can seem like, oh, I used 6 one time and I used 7 that time. It's because it's really easy, okay, to be a little bit off by 1. It's just something normal, okay? So now we have that. So you guys did awesome. We have it kind of, so now we're gonna code it. So how many times do we wanna repeat this action? So we know he's gonna go up, and when he goes to the first banana, he's gonna turn left. When he gets to the other banana, he's going to turn right, okay? Okay, so I see the person that was asking about Spanish. I'm gonna, if you wanna resend your message, there is a person in this chat that can kind of help us guide. Just like I said, I'm not a Spanish speaker. I wish I were, but not that cool. All right, so now we're gonna code it. So now I'm gonna get my times loop and I'm gonna click on it once because I don't remember what the function was. Do I wanna do it 3 times or do I wanna do it 2 times? We can try it with 3 times, or I know that I have a collection of 2 steps. So I'm gonna do 2. Okay, and then what's the first thing that we did? We have to make sure that it's inside the loop. So this is nested in the loop. That's why we don't have it this way, because the computer won't realize that. So the first step that we did is we said step 6, okay? And then when we get to this banana, what did we want to do? We wanted to turn left, okay? And then step, can't remember, so I need to measure the distance. Okay, it was 9, okay? So we're gonna step 9, and then we're gonna turn right. And now we're gonna test it. So it may not work on the first time, but that's the joy about coding, right? We're always failing and we're always doing better than we did the previous time. Oh, so close, okay? So we got this first one. Okay, so we stepped 6, he turned left, and then he stepped 9, and then 6, and then 9. So now I'm gonna look at my configuration and just see if there's something that maybe is a little bit off here. Okay. And then I'm going to rerun the code just because I wasn't paying that close of attention. Okay. So I probably have an error between the measurement of this banana and that banana, which is fine. So I could change it to 7 just in case. And let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, so sometimes you can see it can be a difference of just one number in one direction or the other. Gordo doesn't have anything here, so we need to say something like, whoa. I don't know, something thoughtful here, like whoa, oops, and make sure you're spelling and we're using correct capitalization and punctuation. Okay, so whoa, you coded a simple loop. Great work, because what's going to happen is that other people can actually see this, and I click close. Now I'm not finished, okay? I need to also name my challenge. So when we're naming our challenge, we never use last names ever, okay? We can use a first name, but it's always better to have a nickname. But when you do a nickname, it must be an appropriate nickname, okay? So I'm just gonna do this here. I'm gonna do mine as Monkey Demo because I'm just demoing for you. And when I'm finished, I'm gonna click the check mark. So I know that it's saved. And I am finished with this challenge. So I'll go over here to the right-hand side. I'm gonna click save so that I know it's saved, okay? And then I'll click continue editing. And then I'll walk you through that just one more time. So if you can just stay with me here. And then what you'll do is you can share it to your classroom, or you can share it to our Discover feature. And that means that everyone from all across the world, so some of you that are speaking Spanish, you guys can share yours in Spanish or the language of your choice, and you're able to share that worldwide with each other, and you're able to remix each other's challenges and kind of work from there, okay? You can also do a link, and when you do this link, that means that you can share it anywhere, okay? Like if you want to share it with your family and say, hey, look at this really cool challenge that I just did today, all right? Or you can put it in a web page or anything like that. So let's do that again. So we will name our challenge. Remember, no personal names, nothing there, just like a nickname. You can use a first name, just we never use last names for privacy issues, okay? We click save, always saving our work. And then I click continue editing, and I can share it into my classroom if I would like, and that would mean that other people can play it, or I can just keep it private right now because I haven't really done much on my side of that. Or I can publish it worldwide. Now my team is going to send a challenge builder guide to you, and that's just going to be something that's going to help you navigate building that. So remember, I used the configuration, so the X and Y coordinates. I looked at the different rotations that I had here. You see the monkey was at a certain rotation there. He wasn't rotated at 0, okay? And I made sure I had the same Y coordinates, and it's easy to look between them to see the X coordinates as well. It's a difference of 20 between each one, each pixel, okay? So we build and we created. The last thing that we didn't do though is we didn't give Gordo a message. So here I would say, you will need to use a simple, remember correct capitalization and punctuation to solve this challenge. And I'm just gonna say, don't give up. Try again, okay? So we always want to give some encouraging words and making sure that that's where you're using digital citizenship. You're always acting, you're always using the right words and appropriate words when communicating worldwide with other people where they can see it. All right, so we are finished working through our challenge. We talked about a simple loop, okay? If you get stuck, you always want to ask a teacher or review basically any other challenges that you've worked through. There's also super hints that the teachers will turn on so that you can use super hints when you're stuck on the coding adventure courses themselves. Okay, and now I'm going to leave some time for questions because it was pretty quiet. So if you have any questions, it's open to all panelists and participants right now. You can also pop it in the Q&A box. While you guys are thinking of questions, I'm going to share your results from earlier. So hopefully you guys can see this. How familiar are you with as with CodeMonkey. Oh, that's supposed to be how familiar are you coding as with CodeMonkey? You're a decent coder. Facebook could hire you. Most of you are beginners or still learning, which is exactly what you should be. Have you used CodeMonkey before? A lot of you have used it. Do you love to code and create? Yes, so that's exactly what we would want for you to do. And then the majority, there's a couple people that are in 3rd grade, and there's one person in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and beyond. And then we also have educator, or might not even be one of those. So I don't see any questions coming in, so that's great, or could not be great. So the Challenge Builder Guide is there. Just make sure that you click on that if you have any questions or you're wanting to use the Challenge Builder. I'm going to leave this open for this afternoon. So you can go ahead and keep working on your challenges and all of that kind of stuff. Is it okay to teach CodeMonkey to grade 1 and 2? We have our Beaver Achiever courses that are really great for starting with both 1st and 2nd grade. I would recommend starting there first before doing the text-based coding. Just because the text-based coding can get a little bit tricky beyond Challenge 30. They can definitely do the first 30 challenges, but beyond Challenge 30, they start in variables on Challenge 31. So sometimes that can be a tough concept for anyone to understand, but most importantly for those younger guys. But that's a great question. Okay. I'm going to keep moving here. We will be doing some more webinars and things next week, both for teachers and for students. But if you missed anything, they'll be up here. There's a great game builder webinar that we did last week, and some different things that we did with Beaver Achiever and things like that. Okay. And remember that you can always contact us at info@codemonkey.com, or you can reach out to us on any of our social channels. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of that kind of thing. So remember to follow us and like us. The guide is not hyperlinked. I think you'll have to copy and paste it. Brett, would you be able to share that with them, that link that I shared with you? That is a hyperlinked document. And then remember, while you were working with us today, that we wrote some code, we caught some bananas, and we saved the world. I'll send a follow-up email to our users with the Challenge Builder Guide, or you can just reach out to me at info@codemonkey.com. So I see some people are saying they're not able to get it. So we'll send a follow-up email, or we'll post it on our webpage as well for you guys to use. So thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. You guys were amazing coders, and you did some amazing work today. And remember to always have patience with yourself, and that coding is never 100% on the first try. So thank you for writing code with us, catching bananas, and saving the world. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.